For more than 50 years, urinary voiding dysfunction has been evaluated in urodynamic studies, such as in conventional examinations using an instrument to measure recording pressure and in electromyography. Simulations of a human heart, bone, and other organs were reported to be useful. However, no imaging study or simulation study has examined the characteristics of voiding. Real-time MRI imaging was quite informative, as it showed not only the deformation of the bladder, but also the complicated clockwise vortex of the urine stream. We believe that this vortex thiophanes and cleanses the bladder and urethra to protect against bacterial proliferation. To investigate the mechanism responsible for urinary spiraling during micturition, we developed a non-invasive MRI protocol that computed fluid dynamics simulates male voiding. Mr. Uroflowgraphic assessment was done during urinary voiding in the lateral position. To visualize the entire pelvis and urethra, a sagittal plane image was obtained such that a line connecting the coccyx and pubic symphysis could be observed. In addition, 2 more images were collected, bilaterally, 1 centimeter from the midplane. 3 coronal planar images, at the midplane including the center line of the urethra, and 1 centimeter in the anterior and posterior directions were collected. In total, 6 planar images were obtained. Images were collected until the end of voiding. MRI data were imported into software for segmentation. In each phase and then 3D data were calculated. In CAD software, slices are created as wireframes by the mark function, based on 3D data. Finally, 3D models are created by the surface construction function for filling the surface with curves. We created 7 models, to span the duration from initiation to terminal voiding. The interval between models was about 6 seconds. Deformation of the bladder neck appears to be very complicated. To simulate urine flow, multiple intermittent models were converted to a serial dynamic model with special software. In the computational fluid dynamics simulation of the bladder and urethra, a 3D dynamic model created from MRI data from a young volunteer shows a very intricate urine flow. We can see real-time changes in flow, pressure, and vector. The 3-dimensional dynamic image on the left is a simple model of the bladder and urethra. This model was artificially made in a shape resembling a balloon. The right image is an actual simulation of the bladder and is based on data from a healthy young volunteer, which were obtained by real-time magnetic resonance imaging during voiding. We attempted to develop a computational fluid dynamics simulation using these bladder and urethra models. The simple model shows a smooth stream. However, the actual 3-dimensional dynamic model created from magnetic resonance imaging data shows highly intricate bladder neck motion and urine flow. Simultaneously, pressure of the 3 different sites in the bladder simulation model were measured by computed fluid dynamics software. Green point is posterior side, blue point is anterior side and red point in the bladder. Through the voiding, the pressure of posterior side in the bladder was highest than another site. The pressure around bladder was lowest. We presume the difference of the pressure depend on location in the bladder may produce the stream as vortex. In conclusion, a dynamic 3D model can be created from MRI data. This new method is non-invasive and involves no radiation exposure. This dynamic model can be used for computational fluid dynamics simulation. We believe this new method will be useful in improving our understanding of the mechanism of urinary voiding and voiding dysfunction.